Eric Adams' 2025 re-election campaign may have hit a snag after the feds raided the home of one of his chief fundraisers, who's been subpoenaed now to testify before a grand jury about donations to his 2021 mayoral campaign. Now, even though Mayor Adams is not the focus of the investigation, he did cancel meetings in Washington, D.C., and quickly returned to New York to defend his campaign.
We have probably one of the strictest reviews. We have a review of the team. We have a compliance attorney that I pay that does a review also. We carry a very strict review to do the best we can to make sure that we are having those dollars that are coming in that are appropriate. We turned down a lot of money.
So the FBI is looking into whether or not money from Turkey was illegally diverted into his campaign. So joining us this morning is a public advocate, Jumaane Williams, to talk more about this. So good morning, public advocate. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning, peace and blessings. Hope everybody's well.
Yeah, just let's get right to it. I mean, what is your reaction to this investigation?
Well, obviously, if the FBI is raiding homes, it's cause to concern. The charges are very serious charges, and as it continues to play out, I'm hoping that the public will get consistent, clear, and transparent messaging from the mayor. Right now we're concerned to make sure that operations and everything can go on as it should. Sometimes that's the biggest thing as well, because today I was supposed to be talking about the MTA report and we're talking about scandals. So, the distractions can become a thing as well. And
we will talk about the MTA report because it is important, but it's also important to get your reaction to this because you are in line to the mayor seat if the mayor were to step down or resign, whatever it may be, because of investigations surrounding him. He's not said he's going to, but you're next in line, so your opinion matters here. Did the mayor do the right thing, talking about operations, keeping things running? Did he do the right thing by leaving D.C. right before an important meeting about the migrant crisis to come back and deal with this?
Oh, I'm not sure if it was right or wrong. I think it just goes to the point I was making. Of course, this is important issues, and so it's worthy of being discussed. But it was another example of what I'm saying. We could have been in D.C. Discussing some really important issues that we're dealing with right now, and the mayor had to come back to deal with this. So it's not a right or wrong. It's just a question of, how much is it going to distract, and how much are we going to talk about this versus the work that actually needs to get done. And that's concerning as well. But the mayor, like anyone else, deserves to have everything play out. And as far as everyone has seen, the mayor himself has not been implicated. And so it's concerned. There's nowhere around that. And so at this point, I think that the public just deserves clear, consistent, and transparent answers, and to know that our government is continuing to run the way it should.
Just real quickly. Brianna Suggs, have you ever had any contact with her, the woman at the center of this raid?
I have not, and she seems like a lovely young woman. It's sad to see her even caught up in a discussion about this. It's tough to have to, in government, continually seeming these kind of investigations, these kind of accusations occur over and over again. I really hope at the end of it that there is nothing there, but it remains to be seen. Again, anytime the FBI is raiding a home, it's a serious thing that has to be addressed.
Okay, we'll leave it there, and we'll get to some of the important topics that New Yorkers care about right now besides this investigation that involves the migrant crisis, right? So hundreds of asylum seekers, public advocate, now being housed at this tent city that was set up at Floyd Bennett Field despite the safety concerns. There was a lot of safety concerns. Even the FDNY has some. Are you monitoring the situation there? And should people actually be sent to Floyd Bennett overall?
Well, so yes, we took a tour. We visited it. And I have to say, none of the sites that I've been to have been without concerns. They all have concerns, and they all will. The best that we can do at this moment in time is mitigate those concerns to the best of our ability. I think there's a lot of spaces that people shouldn't be in. But I would say if there's spaces that people have that we can use, they should just tell us, because we're running out of room very rapidly. I would say part of the problem is the White House and the governor actually not helping relieve the pressure of New York City. There's so much pressure of New York City to deal with this national crisis without the real intervention of the governor or the White House. Then the question is, what do you actually do with that pressure that's here when no one is helping?
All right, well, let's move on to what we wanted to talk about the MTA. You released this report titled Out of Service, which found that the majority of subway stations don't have elevator access, making it hard for disabled riders to take a train. What else did you find in that report?
Yeah, we found well, actually the train station we did it at J Street Metrotech. Actually, the elevator was out of service at that point in time. But we found this. There's a lot of things that can be done that's actually low cost, and so we wanted to put some of those things out there. We did want to give the MTA some credit because the station we were at was actually a pilot program for accessibility. And just to be clear, elevators are not the only thing. And so
Yeah.
what we saw in those stations were tactile walking strips that people can feel if they're blind on the bottom. We saw some tactile maps. We saw some strips that help with cognitive disabilities to help show you where you're going. We saw a QR code, but it wasn't very well displayed.
Yeah.
It said for vision impaired, but it was really small to be able to use. That can help. And so what we want to do is encourage the MTA to do these low-cost methods right now. And when you're going to make changes in the station, you have to think about accessibility not as an afterthought, which is what it seems to be, but it has to be integrated. You can't spend $1 million in a train station and not deal with the elevator issue.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of things that we can do.
And above ground, there's the whole Accessoride program, which could really be helpful too. But we're out of time here. But I do want to have you back to talk about that because my grandmother takes Accessoride, and sometimes it's very difficult to get one of those things. We'll talk about it. Public Advocate, good to have you here.
You too, thanks.
All right, everybody, 7:39, and this week on Picks and Politics, back to the top story that we've been following. I'm sitting down with Mayor Eric Adams later this morning for the interview that will air this Sunday to talk more about the investigation and his thoughts on it, what comes next. And we're also going to be talking about other topics. It's a wide-ranging interview, including the migrant crisis, as well as Rikers Island, all this Sunday at 7:30.